I am calling our meeting to order. And we're starting with the minutes of February
When I
6th.
thought Garrett had colored.
Do we have any questions or comments on the minutes? Questions or comments on the minutes?
Yeah, don't we have to change something here on the,
Yes, we do. I'm going to issue a mea culpa, which is that I do not properly read and understand our rules and regulations, which say that if we have a vote and it's a tie, the matter is denied, and if we have less than 4 votes, the matter is denied. So in both ways, 2044 was denied. When I discovered this, I immediately notified her, and she is aware of that. The owner is, excuse me. So just as a correction to the minutes, that matter was denied, the request for solar panels. Okay. Anything else?
I had a few comments. So in item number 2, it's the third sentence. It says, he also asked that the designation of 2043 Main Road as an historic home be deleted. I think it was Caroline that asked that, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, you made the comment.
Yeah, yes. I had, there was a misspelling of the applicant's name. This is on the second page, paragraph that starts with 6:15 p.m. So Mary Lou's last name is Boutwell, Boutwell.
Good catch.
I think that's all I have.
Okay. Anybody else? Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
I second.
As amended. All in favor? Aye. Good. Okay, treasurer's report.
No treasurer's report this week.
Okay, we will pass on the treasurer's report. And it's time for our first item of business, 1959 Main Road. Welcome.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
So I did the 3 copies. And if you remember, I brought the windows last time. And so that is the same window is listed here. The other 2 items, one I mentioned last time also, I had started to redo the roof, and that was out of necessity. And then the outside shingling, which I'd like to do, and again, same for same, we use the western red cedar. And there was a question last month on the screens, and because the sample I had the full screen, what I had spec'd was half screen.
Perfect.
So we're doing half screen on those.
Great.
The one place I did want to request is on the second floor, because it's under the eaves and it's quite warm, and the present second floor windows do have full screens on them. They were windows that my uncle put in the late 70s, and it's the 1/1. There's a I did put a close-up in on the elevation, so you could, that one. So you could see on the second floor there are a couple windows with a full screen, but all the pane windows down will be half, if that is okay.
I
So
think
that's-
it's
Sounds
fine with me.
fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not changing any of the openings for the windows.
Okay.
And then the other, you had recommended the fiberglass gutters. And so I
Respect that.
spec that in there also. And I thought if I could just show you on the second to last page, I believe.
Yeah.
It's, the Fiberglass Gutter Company that I took a picture of the brochure. And I'd like to do the simplest profile, which
Oh, I see.
I've included, it's on this page, fourth to the last, it's the top one, which I think you recommended, Bill.
Yeah,
Put up on those
that's what I
five.
brought in.
Yes,
fine.
yeah, so that's what I circled.
And that is going to be installed exactly like the wooden gutters that are there.
Mhm. And I have the pictures on some of these here.
And is it, they'll be painted, right? To
Yeah, they
color
come
of
in
the
these,
trim.
yes, same color as the trim.
Okay.
And then the round downspouts.
Well,
Perfect,
Great.
perfect. Any questions, comments, discussion? Do I hear a motion?
I so move.
I second.
All in favor of approving this certificate of appropriateness? Let's use some of the verbiage.
So verbose.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Very good.
Also, I'd like to say that the applicant has done a very good job of providing enough information
Documentation.
to us. So many people do not provide adequate information, and we have to keep searching for it.
Yeah, and
Thank you.
And the work on the gutters, we will, incorporate that and keep that for future
Okay.
reference.
That was,
Thank you.
it was just off the website. It was off the website.
Thank you.
So, okay, great.
Have a good
thank
trip
you.
home.
So do I?
Monitor.
I
Oh, wait,
see
monitors.
those
We
yeah.
need to
Oh.
assign 2 monitors to you.
Okay.
Do we have,
Yeah, I have to be a monitor.
you okay,
Yeah.
one monitor?
I'm pretty close to.
Okay, 2, okay. Now, Bob will give you their phone, their contact information,
Right.
and they should be contacted just before the work starts. If you think you want to make any changes to what we've approved tonight, you have to go back to them, and they'll probably bring it back to us.
Okay,
And they should be notified upon completion of the
It
work.
was me, wasn't
Sure.
it? Or was it,
Okay.
great. All right, thank you very much.
Was the other one Deborah or me?
Deborah.
This is
Oh,
an
perfect.
an official copy now.
Okay, here, take this.
Garrett.
Garrett.
What am I doing with these?
Eric, this is from the, you did this.
Okay. You're up, my friend. Yeah, this is not like our last meeting.
What's your phone?
This is another look at 2038.
Yeah.
This is the one you all visited a couple of weeks ago.
Which I forgot.
And what I've done is I've just done a simple massing drawing. I
Okay.
haven't put any detail, any windows or doors or anything.
Okay.
Just massing about how we propose to configure this.
Good.
The first 2 sheets are the existing
Existing, yeah, I
conditions.
see that.
There. And can you share one, there's 7 here tonight. So
That's interesting, okay.
what we're looking at is a simple 2-story addition directly to the east off the back of the building,
Mhm.
with a small 1-story addition projecting from that to the south. So it gives very, very simple massing,
Yeah.
and very simple forms.
This is existing.
And I guess we'd just like to know if you think
If you're in the ballpark.
that we're in the ballpark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these are the same plants that we already saw, right?
No,
No, this looks like the same.
no, well, the existing is the same.
Existing.
The first 2 pages, skip those. Go to the 3rd and the 4th.
No, I'm on the 4th page.
You're on the 4th page, that's completely different.
Oh,
Well, the
okay.
roof line looks the same. Look at the 4th page.
No, not at all here. Let me show you.
I'm sorry, I should have brought them.
That's okay, I got it.
That's the
First floor, and this is the new one, first floor proposed.
Did I go
See
too
how
far
this
here?
comes out.
Yeah.
The dots are where you
Here.
were,
Look-
right?
Look at the bottom here.
Broken lines are
Yes.
where you were.
Yes, that's the line of the existing,
Got it.
existing house, yes. I should have marked that out.
Oh, I see, because it's
Yeah,
this.
and then there's the other facade, which is even more complicated before. Yeah.
So how many square feet are you adding?
Not this.
Oh, I don't even know at this point. I'm just asking you how you feel about this massing.
Concept.
The concept.
Mm-hmm.
And certainly when we do a final application, we'll have all that data on it.
Well, I think it's an improvement on the.
Definitely an improvement.
Floor,
Yeah.
So that's the same.
Yeah.
This,
The south projecting L has an eave height that's a little higher than a normal one-story. It's about 1.25 stories. And this is an attempt to get some ceiling height within that space on the first floor.
That's fine. It's got the same pitch.
Yes.
It looks right. Yeah.
Using the same pitch.
Yeah.
And the L to the rear is narrower than the house itself, so
Right, so the roof of the peak of the roof does not,
and these
the
are
peak of the
only
roof doesn't come all the way up.
yes.
I don't like this.
So what we're seeing then here is just this is the.
That's the north,
This is just one large wall.
yes. And it'll have windows in it in some reasonable layout. As I say, I'm not showing any windows or anything like that yet. I haven't really sorted it out.
Right.
It's just about the massing.
I think it's a vast improvement. Frankly.
Good.
Well, just one suggestion. Sometimes you see to break this up, they'll run a cornice across like this. So this would be a fascia,
Yeah.
and then you'd see some shingles in here, roofing shingles, and then the windows would be up there, and then it returns around the corner. In that way, that wall gets broken up. It's a false. Some roofing material comes down. It almost looks like, well, you see it all the time, to break that up. Fascia, soffit, projecting out, and then roofing material goes up.
Why would he do that?
Why would you do that?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, I don't understand. I don't understand why that would be an improvement here.
Well, think about it, okay? You see it everywhere.
No, I know you see, it, but on a colonial house.
I could make the, I could, if we look at the rear elevation.
What you're saying is that the north elevation would look similar to where you've got the little doorway on the south elevation, right? Where you've got a little
Yeah,
projecting
exactly.
roof. And
So-
I don't necessarily think that's.
So
It
one-
does break up that wall.
But one thing I could do without actually changing any square footage would be to shift the second floor over this way
Yeah,
and have a little projecting, and actually all the square footage would end up being the same.
that's exactly what I'm talking about. And
And that would break up this wall.
Right.
There'd be a little piece of roof along here.
Yeah,
Right, I got it.
So this plane is a couple of feet in front of this plane,
yeah.
and it would have that kind of look at the back.
I see
Okay, and
that.
where does that place the wall to the
East?
left here?
What,
That wall that you just moved over?
this? Well, I mean.
It's still
the-
way
the-
off, it's way off the corner of the
Yeah,
house.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. I
It's
think that's a
basically, it centers it on the chimney. It centers the
Yeah,
addition on the chimney.
all I'm
Yeah.
doing is shifting the second floor mass
Yeah,
a little bit
centering it
south,
on the
Yeah.
chimney,
but leaving the first floor
as is.
piece as is.
I like that. I mean, that's fine.
Well, I'm just saying that when you have a wall that is large like that,
Yeah.
this breaks it up.
Yeah, but there are plenty of those along the,
Hmm?
Well, this-
plenty of,
This house, I mean, the front facade.
No, I know,
yeah, but there are plenty of two-story additions off the backs of houses in the head that are
I know there
two-stories,
are.
full
And they
two-stories
do
high.
look, especially the size of that addition, looks a little bit, the wall looks, this would be a good solution.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's fine.
I don't see any downside to doing that in terms of how the plan would work.
Right. I agree.
Okay, thank you. Good suggestion.
The only thing I have a problem with kind of is elevating the roof in the back so that it's right by at the end of the chimney. You know, this part here,
Well,
elevating that.
Yeah, you may not have all the,
As opposed to,
it's shown two different ways. The east elevation has it lower than it's shown on the north or south elevation. I'm not sure where it is. Isn't that right?
No, it barely kisses the,
Barely kisses the bottom of the chimney?
barely kisses the bottom of the chimney.
Okay.
Well, if you were putting an addition on the back of a house, it's two-story, that's where that roof line would end up.
yeah, I'm just saying aesthetically, I think it's jarring to me a little bit.
It's hardly anything you ever perceive from the
You won't see
ground.
that, Ben. You really won't see that.
Do your model again.
Fair enough.
And it's all determined by the roof pitch, and the roof pitch is the height is determined by the width of that addition.
Right.
Because he's lined up the
Cornices,
cornice along
Yeah.
with the main house, which is
the way you want it.
Okay,
Okay.
so I will try to bring back, you need we've already put in an application. Do we need a three?
Did you put in an application?
I haven't received it.
Oh, we haven't,
No, you did, that was preliminary.
No, so you
Yeah.
need an application 3 weeks before the
Yes,
April meeting,
yes,
which I'm not going to be able to do.
okay.
So
In May.
It'll be in for the May meeting.
Okay.
That's Ruggs.
Yeah. Oh, this is now garbage, more or less.
Do you have a minute to consider a couple of other things?
Sure, we're here.
Going, and I would normally take this to the supervisors on 24/3, but we have been working with the surveyor, and if we shift that rear addition slightly to the south, we'll be able to get 10-foot setbacks from the sidelines on both the north and the south.
Mhm.
It wouldn't change the configuration of the addition at all. I presently have it,
So it'll stick out a little bit, basically, is what you're saying?
no, it won't stick out at all.
Oh,
It'll
wait.
it'll still be completely.
Oh, you're talking about the main bulk, not the L, I'm sorry.
I think you were talking about the addition.
Yeah, I'm talking about the addition. Here was our plan. We had the original house here, here's the street,
Yeah,
and this came back like that.
oh, you're talking about the original plan, okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
so that's the plan that you approved. All,
Right.
all I'm suggesting is that we could take this piece and move it a little bit south, so it was here.
Oh,
What's a little bit?
yeah,
2 or 3
But
feet.
are you, which way's north and, I would think this side is south.
This is-
yeah, that's south,
All
that's
right,
south.
well, it looked to me like you were moving it north.
No, I was gonna move it south.
Oh.
Actually, I think everybody would prefer that.
And that's gonna give us 10 feet here, and it's gonna give us 10 feet here and keep us out of trouble with the Board of Appeals.
That's
Sounds-
good to keep you out of trouble, and it also keeps you further away from that tree, those tree roots, if
Yes,
I
it
remember
does.
correctly.
And also from
So that sounds fine.
the party
Okay,
line.
good.
I mean, wait, I guess we have to vote on this, because we've approved that, have we not?
You have, yeah.
So,
I'll
okay.
make a formal submission.
Make a formal submission.
Yes, I will. I'll do it through the supervisors.
Very good.
Okay?
Kid, one question on this house,
Yes.
2038. Is this going to infringe on the ancient well?
I don't know.
You know, the original well is right here.
Where?
It's actually further forward, I believe.
Well, I don't know, but I mean, I'm just.
It's something to look
Yeah, I don't know.
Pretty important.
We'll check with it with the surveyor.
Very good.
And one more thing, if I
Yes,
may,
yes.
since it's not a very busy evening. A couple of weeks ago, you gave us a certificate of non-applicability for 7 Windward Way. And we are now proposing to put a new garage on that house. And the question is it still not visible from a public
You'd
way?
have to see. I mean, you have to show us what we're
Well-
talking about.
So, here's the house.
Right,
Do you all remember this?
yes.
I know the house, yeah.
Yeah, here's the house, and we're proposing to put a garage.
Excuse me,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
the two ends of this table.
Yeah, here's the house. This is 7A, 7
Proposing to put the
Way,
garage to the west. it
and
looks
we'll
like.
put the garage to the west.
Yeah.
Um,
What happens to the existing garage?
It's going to get turned into a exercise room or something like that.
Right.
So this is the proposed with the garage on the west end of the house.
With a higher roof line than the existing house.
Yes,
But isn't the question whether we
It's
can
visible.
review it?
whether it's visible, yes.
Yeah.
And last time when we were talking about this little change at the other end here, you all agreed that it was not, the property was not visible from a public way.
So none of the structure is visible from a public way?
That's correct.
Well,
Well, that's
I think
the
the roof
question.
line will be, because it's taller than the roof line of the existing house, isn't that correct?
It is taller, yes.
Yeah, so I think that would be probably visible from Main Road, yes? Isn't that where?
Well, you can't
I
see,
don't think you can see from Main Road, but I'd like
Yeah.
to walk down there
you can't see any part of that house.
from the main.
From any
Because of
public road.
vegetation or because it's just,
Well, yes, because of
Yeah,
vegetation.
but
No,
vegetation
vegetation
doesn't
doesn't
count. Sorry, vegetation doesn't count. If you can see it from a public way, we need to review it.
why do you have to raise the roof? I mean,
Well, we're trying to get some storage space up there.
well,
A whole other addition.
dig down.
Kid, would you mind passing that around with me?
Sure. I have
It sounds like you better come before us on this one. I have a feeling that this one will be visible from a public way, if you eliminate all the vegetation. I mean, you tell me, but I think from Windward Way, from somewhere.
Well, I mean, that would have applied to the previous one as well, for that matter.
Yeah,
But it
not
was a
necessarily, because
fairly-
that one was on the far side of the house from Windward Way. This is now toward Windward Way, is
Well,
it
it's,
not?
well, Windward Way is not a public way.
Oh, it's not.
No. The question is whether
It's visible from Main Road.
whether it's visible
Okay.
from Main Road.
Main Road. How about Cape Ball? Is that a public way? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
This is not visible from Cape Ball. Okay. I got it. So the only question is it visible from Main Road? And if you've raised the roof, it might be, yes?
Yeah, I suppose it might be, yes.
What are you talking about, the elevation?
Well, there's a couple of feet higher than the main roof.
What do you think, guys?
I think we need more information.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we, how many is a couple?
Yeah, okay.
Could be two, but
Or put in, an application for a non-applicability, but give us enough material so that we can see what would be visible from Main Road, if you can. Take a photograph, draw it in,
make
whatever.
a facsimile prototype or,
I'm sorry.
Put up a
No, that's all right, I understand, I understand. You all might, in the meantime, if you happen to be down there,
Take a look.
take a look.
Okay. See, I don't even know Windward Way was not a public road.
No, it's not, it's a private road.
Okay, so it doesn't get plowed by the town or anything?
No, it doesn't.
Interesting.
Which house?
So we're talking about, I'm all turned around here, talking about this house, and the garage is gonna go off the end there. And here's Main Road.
And idea what that distance is?
No, I don't. It must be,
About a football field.
Tennis
Maybe
court's
more.
over there. There's a tennis court on Yvonne's property.
yes, yeah.
So
Is that Yvonne? It's Yvonne Barr. right?
Yes, yeah.
that's where the garage would be.
So here's the tennis court, and they talk about this here, being the new garage?
Mhm. Oh, looks like it.
And you might as well all know
Here's
that this,
Main.
this is for my own benefit, because I am now cohabiting with Yvonne Barr.
You are?
Yes, I am. We are an item, and have been
Congratulations.
for some time.
beats having breakfast alone.
It sure does.
She was like-
Yeah, let's, maybe other people might.
Oh,
Well, I'll provide,
yeah, full disclosure.
I'll provide further information about the roof height and some photographs from Main Road and so forth, and I'll still put in an application.
the house?
Yeah, right, so there's the addition going on. And what would the grade be? I mean, the grade difference between Main Road,
Oh, it's quite a bit lower.
so that would have a factor into it, yeah.
Because in that case, even if the roof is higher, you might not be able to see it.
Right,
It's
it
really,
depends on the
it's
grade.
it's clearly borderline,
It's
but
borderline, okay.
it's hard to know.
All right.
Where is the house and
Include
where's
the grade
the-
line,
I'm sorry, Main Road,
or if you
Oh,
can.
that's Main Road?
and here's the house.
The height of the Main
You know,
Road.
you
and-
go
Oh,
down
yeah, I can
Cape
probably get
Ball,
out
goes
Yeah.
on Windward,
Yes,
and then
yeah,
up here, here's the
I think that
house,
would
and
help
the
us
garage is gonna be
understand.
there.
It is pretty far down.
It's pretty far down.
I mean,
There's no
I
question
just
about
live
that.
about here.
I know. It's borderline.
Whoops.
Unless somebody has a stronger feeling one way or the other on anything here.
A feeling about what? Yay or
Wh-
nay?
wh- Whether we should review, this warrants our review.
Oh,
Well, you determined that, right?
I did, but I'm only me. I wonder if, I didn't know how anybody.
I think it
everybody else
does. I
feels.
think it
Okay,
does, yeah.
okay, just fine.
Okay, I will submit something a little bit more in-depth and,
We appreciate it.
but I will put it in as a certificate of non-applicability.
That's fine.
Some photos from Main Road.
And photos from Main Road, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Through the trees.
Okay,
Well,
thank you
now's
very,
the time of year to do that.
Right.
thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I'll be back again, many times.
You're welcome.
We have the other house at 2040,
Right.
the little cottage in the back. I think you looked at that, did you?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 18th century cottage?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Nice.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It's
Nice,
been-
nice
it's been com-
building.
Did you get inside? It's been completely redone inside.
No.
You know, we're just on the outside.
Yeah, the inside's all sort of 19th century, or early 20th century, or something like that.
No.
And I may have another little one too at some point, so.
Good.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
good night.
Okay. New business.
Yvonne has a dog.
I'm sorry, 2038 is the first one we reviewed, yes. Hello.
Daughter and mother. She's older. And she's different.
So maybe I should introduce Elizabeth Grossman, who's bringing to us a proposal to have her cottage on Cadman's Neck added to the Massachusetts Historical Inventory, which is
Right.
one of the things we do. I don't think we've done anything for a long time.
I'm surprised it wasn't on there originally if it warrants it.
Yeah, as far as I can tell, there's nothing on Cadman's Neck that's on.
Nothing on
Massachusetts.
Cadman's
There is
Neck.
nothing on Cadman's Neck. In fact, I asked Betty Slade,
Right.
and she said somehow or other, the inventory stopped
Wow.
before Cadman's Neck.
You know, maybe we should discuss, as long as we're here discussing, doing a complete survey of Cadman's Neck and adding a number of properties to the inventory.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. And Elizabeth, you actually started preparing an area
Well,
proposal for Cadman's Neck, which would be another step. I mean, so there, you can get a historical listing for an area, and then you can do historical
Right.
listings for individual buildings.
actually, what happened was a group of us started doing some research
Yeah.
back in late 2019, 2020.
Mhm.
And it was, we weren't meeting, it was COVID, and we were just doing it all online. And we became fascinated with the camp meetings, which were
Right. The genesis.
the genesis of the whole thing. And so, but Cadman's Neck has a lot of history, but people are very, I would say, private down there, and they don't really think of themselves maybe as a community that needs to be recognized historically. And so those of us who were doing the research just decided to do the research for ourselves. And so I took it on myself, partly because I'm retired, to try to see whether or not we could get our place on the inventory. And we were very much supported by Betty Slade, who encouraged us to pursue it. And so that's where we are. And we never got close to talking about an area. But that isn't to say that it isn't something that I would initiate, but it isn't. But if it's in your purview, then of course that would be.
Well, I would think we would want to work with any group on Cadman's Neck who knows where the bodies are buried, so to speak.
How old is your house?
So the cottage is it's somewhere between 1895 and 1912. It couldn't be before that date because it wasn't until 1894 that the neck was surveyed and divided into lots, and it was done, and the entity that commissioned that survey was the Cadman's Neck Camp Meeting Association. And so what they were really interested in doing was providing a lot of very small lots for a lot of people coming to the camp meetings. So the frontage is like 25 to 30 feet, and it's relatively deep going back, particularly on the east side to the river. That's one of the things that makes the Cadman's Neck cottages different than a lot of the famous camp meeting cottages,
Right.
because these are much older. They were like, I mean, the camp meetings were started in the 30s, and the houses were built in the 1870s when the gingerbread style was, you know,
Right.
really hot. And by the time 1894, even though the camp meetings in Cadmus Neck started in the 1870s, it was 25 years later, say.
Before
that-
anything permanent got built.
Before anything permanent.
Yeah.
Right.
And probably when the houses were putting on the list originally, these were maybe not old enough. You know, back in the
1895?
70s. No, she
Oh.
said in the,
Yeah,
they
1894.
probably weren't 100 years old yet.
Oh, wow.
But they are
Oh, you
now.
have a point.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yes, well, it would have been close. I think the other thing is,
Yeah, you have a point.
let's see, the other thing is that the neck in the 1890s wasn't what I would say architecturally, it was the opposite of architecturally notable. I mean, that was our cottage when we bought it. It didn't have running water. I mean,
It's primitive.
it was primitive. It was
Is this
really
it today?
This is it today.
It's sweet.
That's great.
Yeah.
So I think that was another thing. I mean, these cottages, they had been shingled,
Well, they do have character. I mean,
but they have a lot of character. I mean, we love them.
Yeah.
And
So what's your understanding of how many structures would fall into this thing, roughly?
well, I know I can, I would, at least 3 more.
Does that just mean that they haven't been touched?
It,
Like, so they have an old look to them? I mean, because they are all built around the same time, weren't
well, not all. A lot of the lots were sold but not built on.
mhm.
And then a number of the lots that were built on, just recently, 2 of them have been torn down because they were really so deteriorated that they were health hazards. I mean, one of them was consumed with mold, for example. And they're very, very close together. So I would say that, and different styles came in. So then the bungalow style sort of came in the
Turn of the
20s,
century.
and there are
Yeah.
some of those that are very nicely kept. I'd say maybe 10, maybe, if you push it, and if you look on Sunset Avenue as well as Sunrise Avenue, maybe 10.
Okay.
Is the community center there, was that, when was that built?
Oh, the community center, that's another story. The community center was built in 1925,
Okay.
and there was a family down the neck called the Darlings, and J.R. Darling was one of the people who bought. There were 3 families who bought out the Cadmus Neck Camp Meeting Association
The
and
unsold stuff.
secularized it, right?
Okay.
And then they sold properties. And one of those was the family of J.R. Darling. And so his grandson, I think, and his daughter Maud Parlin and I think George Darling went to MIT. And they studied architecture in the Beaux-Arts system at MIT in the 1910s. And they are associated, well, the grandson is associated with building the community house. Maud graduated, she was the first woman to graduate from MIT in architecture. So I got all excited about this.
Yeah.
And I did a lot of research. I got hold of her student project, which was for a dining hall. And I thought, oh my God, maybe that was a predecessor to the community house, but it wasn't. It wasn't. But anyway, so yes, that's the story with the community house. It's really wonderfully designed.
Oh.
And is it well preserved?
Beautifully preserved.
Oh, actually,
Who-
no.
Who's preserving it?
The Cadman's Neck Improvement Association,
Yeah, so there is a,
which
you know, whatever.
was founded in the 1920s, sort of as a secular successor, one might say, to the camp meetings.
It's like a homeowners association. Yeah. Does everyone pay dues?
You don't have to join.
Ah,
It's
Okay.
the membership used to
It's voluntary.
extend off Cadman's Neck.
uh-huh.
Now it's only on Cadman's Neck, and I would say there are 40 families who belong, but there's probably 55
Houses.
on the neck.
Yeah.
But somebody must be contributing to the maintenance of this.
Well, the 40 families
Yeah, the
who
40
are
families.
members.
Oh, all right.
And, and
It's a club. Call it a club.
it has a tennis court.
Right.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Well, they're utterly charming.
Well,
That's not
those-
Cadman's Neck.
That's
No,
not
I
Cadman's
know.
Neck.
But I mean, they're throughout the East
Yes.
Coast.
Yeah,
pretty
no,
much.
that's an amazing book. She documents them. She said there are probably 1,000 existent
Mhm.
ones
Extant.
in various forms of.
Yeah. Well, where do we want to go from here?
So I've been working with Elizabeth to prepare this application. It's called a Form B
Uh-huh.
for listing a building. And just to be clear, I mean, listing a building, listing an area doesn't create any legal rights or any, legal, I mean, it doesn't enable us to block anything. It's not a local historic district. It doesn't require.
Well, wait. If it's on Macris, then we have the demolition review.
Demolition, is that true if it's just on Macris? I don't think
Yes.
so.
It is.
Yes.
I'll have to check. Okay,
Anything
so
that's has been inventoried
Yes.
is
Okay,
covered.
Subject to our
okay,
demolition
so
review.
I apologize, I didn't know that, but aside from that, I mean, it doesn't require
Right.
approval of changes and so on.
Right.
So it's not a local historic district.
Right,
Right.
I understand.
Yeah.
But what is the request?
So the request is basically for us to approve.
What?
Approve filing this application.
For?
To have this property listed
Oh,
in the
so,
Massachusetts Historical Inventory.
well, I got all of that, but how did demolition come into the conversation? What are we demolishing? Or what's,
Nothing's being demolished.
Nothing's being
It's a
demolished
question
at
of
this
what
point.
legal rights are created by putting something
Right.
into this listing. And,
That's that.
And I guess the only thing is the right to have a review before it's demolished, in hopes that maybe another
Right.
buyer might be found, say.
Yes, we're able to delay it for
Up to a year.
Right,
Right.
that was what I understood from.
That's correct.
okay.
That's correct.
And so I was working with Garrett, and I provided the description that's required and the information that's required and the historical background that's required. And I think,
So I circulated that to everyone, and
Yes.
I recommend reading the
Yeah.
historical narrative especially. It's pretty interesting.
This is very important.
Yes, it is.
And would the other buildings then be put on the inventory?
Well, I think we could look into that. I mean, it sounds like the community center is probably.
Yeah, we would like to work with you to list anything that should be listed,
And I think
quite frankly.
doing an area listing would be good. And I wonder if area listing confers the same right to review, for demolition. I don't know exactly. how
I
it
don't
works.
know either,
Have to
quite
look into
frankly.
it. But I think certainly the area listing would be good. I think that maybe, a few of these houses that could be identified as being, still in their original condition.
Just have a
is
question.
it possible to speak off the record?
Yes. I mean, well, no, because the camera is just running, I'm afraid. So this will be, it is on the record.
Okay. I just had a quick question. Do owners have to sign this sort of application? Like if you wanted to put
No,
people,
an owner does not have
the
to
owner
sign it.
doesn't have say here?
Generally, it's the historical commission that prepares these.
Right.
Okay.
The Historical Commission has actually employed an architectural historian that started the inventory. And so that person has gone through the town, and persons, there have been a number of people who have done that over time. So that's what that's about. And actually, in order to establish a historic district, you have to have the town inventory. So that was done even before that
Yeah.
started anyway.
And I checked the other day, there are 969 items in Westport on the historical inventory. The last two, I think, were hitching posts.
Are there any areas? I don't think
Pitching
so.
posts?
Hitching posts, yeah. There are some areas, I mean, the point, I think.
What about the head?
Is an area, the head is an area.
It is an area.
Yeah.
But
I
what-
guess
what-
you can be an area without being a district, but you can't be
yeah.
a district without being an area.
Right, but I'm still not sure if it doesn't mean anything, what that does. But we'll have to find that out.
It's useful to researchers, someone researching the history of Westport can access this database. It helps, I don't know, it sort of creates a context for thinking
I
about these
can think of a
different
couple of areas, probably on Hicksbridge too, I mean,
Yeah, there were a couple. I can try to remember that.
Yeah. Where the villages
Get a
were.
list. I mean, anybody can go on that list.
Adamsville.
It's actually kind of fun.
Any area can become a historic district.
Yes.
The head attempted to become a historic district in the past, which it should be.
Mhm.
It's separate from us. They could
Right.
be their own historic district with their own meetings and so on.
Mhm.
So could you.
If you want it.
Well, I don't think going to meetings is what I need to do anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is, we would very much like to have our little cottage listed in practice, because
Yes.
I think it's worthy, and not only because of the material, that it's a piece of material history, but also because it's associated with this guy, Gilbert Wardell, who was really active in the Cadman's Neck Improvement Association. And in fact, in that book, the Westport book, there's a picture of him, because he ran the restaurant when they had the campaign.
I'm not sure you pulled that out for us. Did you?
did you?
Westport?
Did you give that back to me?
I gave it back to you, yeah.
Okay, let's see.
while you're looking,
It's
I
not that.
would just
That's not there.
inform everyone that
I'm sure I gave it back to you.
Bill and I went to look at the white structure behind Westport Lobster because Ralph was concerned that it might at least have some historic value. And it was not listed on Macris. And Bill and I determined that it doesn't have any historic value and they will be demolishing it, just so you know. It's,
Well, it's like 1900,
Mhm.
1910, you know, that, in that area. And it's not on
very-
what we were looking for, and we're always looking for. And Ralph is really good with us. I mean,
Yeah.
Ralph contacts us if anything like this comes up, whether it's on the Macris or not.
Right.
Because you never know what's inside the structure.
Mhm.
You could have something that looks just like that, and you could walk in, and it could be one of the earliest houses
Right.
in Westport. Because that's what happens. You have something that starts, and then it gets added on to and changed, so you never know what's inside. So you go in and look for the framing. You can tell the date of the building by the framing. So this one was just late framing,
Mhm.
nothing important. So even if it was not on the Macris, we have no review if it's not on there. But at least we'd be able to try to preserve the frame of the building,
Mhm.
some way.
yeah. Cool.
And Jenny O'Neill at the Westport Historical Society has done some work on the camp meetings.
Oh, has she?
Yeah.
Well, I wish there was more protection for it, because it's really very, very important.
Yeah.
But I don't know what you can do.
Well, we should, as I say,
Except the district, that would be the only thing
yeah.
that I know of.
Yeah, and that would be a big reach, I think.
Yeah.
Well,
But getting,
Given- given what
getting
we've
these
seen
places on
elsewhere.
the inventory is a start.
all right, well, let's start with this one.
Yep.
And once you've got your feet wet, you're gonna become our expert.
Well, Elizabeth, I think, has already done a lot of work on
Okay.
So, well, thank you.
Thank
So-
you.
So, let me know if I need to do anything else,
it.
but,
Yeah, I think I have everything that I need from.
Oh, sorry.
And-
Elizabeth, thank you for taking this on. This is
Yeah.
Yeah.
really incredibly wonderful.
Coming out of retirement.
well, if you're ever down on Cadman's Neck and in the summertime, we tend to be there from July and August.
Okay,
And I'd be happy to show you the inside.
great.
Great.
Thank you kindly.
Okay.
I'm very pleased by this. All those people who thought we were crazy when we bought the place,
How long ago did you buy it?
1992.
So I don't know if we need a vote on this, or,
I don't think we need to vote. This is
it's
just,
just
I
part,
think,
part of our business.
this is part of something we do, yeah. But we should discuss, as I say, listing everything that warrants listing on Cadman's Neck, so.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good night.
Any monitors' reports?
No,
Well, we just got that
We
one
just got a
call.
call.
Yeah.
He's gonna start with the gutter on 2044.
Right, the one we recently
Yeah.
approved, okay.
That's what we've
Um,
done this week, we think.
Applications for certificates of non-applicability.
none.
Well, that simplifies life. I have one item of new business here, which is the U.S. Department of the Interior wants to know if we have any comments on Revolution Wind Farm proposal to build a wind farm way offshore off of Westport.
It's probably between Block Island and Nantucket. I don't know if any of you are sailors. I thought at first it was the Buzzards Light, but it's even further
No,
out.
it's way out there.
But it's very big.
I don't think right, you can take a look at the map. I don't
It's
think
more
it-
FYI.
I don't think it has anything to do with us, quite frankly, for better or for worse.
Well, I think for better, I mean,
For
it's a
better,
good
well, yeah,
thing.
no, wind farm is always a good thing, yes,
And it's big.
yeah.
That size map, wow. Jeez.
I think the jury's out, you know, they closed the Cape Cod Canal for the right whale, because so many whales have died this year. And, all the shipping, the lobster boats don't go out for 4 months because of the right whale migration. I can only imagine what, I don't know, I don't wanna.
But that wouldn't be under. our
That's
purview.
not under our
No,
purview,
Thank
no.
God,
No.
thank
No.
you, yeah.
Somebody else's purview.
Somebody
That's
else's
very
purview.
complicated.
Where's the backside? It's on the backside,
Mm,
just more of the same. Okay,
It's huge.
anybody wants to see it?
Block Island.
Any other new business?
Buzzards Light must be about
I had a
here.
few things.
Good.
So, one thing I noticed, Bob, is that the website membership needs updating.
Bob? Okay, got it.
Another item is, I'd like to suggest that we come up with some guidelines for solar panels, as some other towns have done. And I think it would make our task a little easier in future considerations.
Good idea.
Okay.
I mean, I think we were all kind of caught off guard last time, just because we haven't seen an application like that for a long time. But other towns do have guidelines, and I think
Yeah,
we can use one of those as a model. And,
okay.
so, I know you were interested.
I'm very
working
interested
on
in
that,
working
so-
on that, yeah.
yeah.
Thank you for sending all
So
that
do we have a
information.
subcommittee here? Anybody else want to be part
Yeah,
of this?
and, there
Good.
are a couple of good contacts in what Garrett says.
Yes.
And this one guy who is actually, does fine roofing and exterior finished carpentry said that he has installed stuff in Bolton, Mass. It's designed to look similar to slate. So, I said to Garrett, I think it's a question of a year or two,
Before the
things
costs
that
come
look
down.
authentic become
Yeah.
available at a price that's reasonable.
Yeah.
Well, some of those emails were actually from 2006,
Okay, well,
with the solar slate, so.
in a few years, there'll be, something that's appropriate.
But there are some things now made in Ohio, but they are expensive, and that's sort of, you gotta know what the price point is if you wanna do it, if you want integrated shingles instead of panels.
But
Which
we
is a very
can-
different product
And
than
what the
solar
trade-offs
panels.
are, and, yeah.
But we can educate ourselves on
Right.
what some options are, so
Yeah.
that the next
I
time
hate
somebody.
to ask
That'd be
this
good.
question, but to the extent that they are solar shingles, how much authority do we have over that? Given that we're not given authority over
Surrogate
roof
roofing?
materials.
You mean, because it's not called panels?
It's no longer a solar panel, it now becomes a shingle.
It's
which-
integrated.
Solar
Which
roof.
is integrated. I'm not even sure we have authority
That's a
over
good
that
point.
anymore. I mean, it's something
Good point.
to think about.
Well, what we're trying to do here is, what I'm assuming we're trying to do, Bev, is look into the solar shingle as an alternative to the actual big units on the
highly
roof.
reflective panel, right.
And so in our guidelines, what we would say is that we prefer
The shingle.
the shingle. Now, they haven't been maybe totally developed at this point. We don't really know what they're gonna look like.
Right.
But we know that in the future, and we would rather see that than the other.
Well, and something else to think about is that if you're using a shingle, you want to shingle the entire surface and not just a patch in a different roof with contrast. It doesn't make
Yeah,
sense.
and Nantucket has some guidelines like this. So
Okay,
I think the
okay.
place to start is look at what other towns are doing.
Yes, that's a good
great.
place to
That's
start.
great. If
Yeah,
you guys
get
could
educated.
draft something up, bring it back to us, we'll take it from, we'll all talk about it and take it from there. That sounds
Okay.
great.
I think the house to look at is the land trust in Adamsville, which is
Yeah.
that's a 18th century house.
Right, but we
They-
don't want to see that all over.
Well, we don't in the district. I mean, it looks, it's
It's the
okay, I
nicest
mean, that's what they
thing.
want to do there, that's fine. But if you look at it, that's what we don't want to see in the district.
That's what we don't want to do.
This is like
Or-
glamour, do and not do.
Or the guy down below me, if you go down between Betsy's house there and around, it's a fairly new house, and he's just covered the roof with it. Didn't ask, didn't come to anybody, just did it.
But wait a minute, should we get Ralph on his case?
Yeah, sure.
I
It's in the
mean,
district.
it's
Yes.
in the district.
Now, do you need
It's
a
not,
permit for
it's
that,
not
right?
seen from Main
Oh,
Road,
you-
but it's probably seen from the water.
It must be.
Well, yes, Ralph
Yeah.
should be alerted to that.
Yes, Ralph should be
Um,
alerted to that.
When you put solar panels on your roof, don't you need a building permit? So
Yeah, yeah,
you don't
I mean-
pass Ralph then.
Yeah.
You do, but we do not have the authority over roofing, and Ralph probably thinks it's the same as roofing.
Oh.
So he's gotta be alerted to that.
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
get the number.
Yeah, if you can get me the number, I'll call Ralph.
I'm not sure what that road is
Um,
called.
That little road there that he's off, yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, you know which house I
I
mean.
do, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know what that road is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably look on a map.
Huh.
Huh.
So there is a subcommittee formed then,
Yes.
Yeah.
okay?
Great.
And you'll be reporting back
Yes.
on all the good things you find.
Yes.
So in terms of the open meeting laws, I guess we can have a subcommittee of 3,
Yes, you can, as
But
long as
not-
you don't have a quorum.
but not a 4.
Not four, so
That's
we're
correct.
limited to,
Yeah,
we three?
so we.
Great. Okay.
Okay, great. And then the last thing I had was something I forgot to bring up when we were considering the minutes.
Okay.
Mary Lou Boutwell sent me a correction. She says, David Carter did not say at the meeting that he feared the approval of the application would set a precedent and encourage more applications throughout the neighborhood. What David and other abutters did express was the fact that the panels at David Cole's house were visible from their backyard and from the water. As stated earlier in the minutes, 3 abutters were present and they had no objections to the plans. In fact, I believe 2 or 3 spoke up in favor of my application. So she asked me to convey this to the commission, and it's kind of at the last minute, so I'm not even sure exactly.
So what, you want to amend the minutes to say that the abutters who spoke did not object to the application?
I think she said that,
I'm not sure any of the rest
Yeah,
needs to be
so,
put, added to
so
the
that already
minutes.
says, so how about if we just strike that sentence, the second sentence in the second paragraph of that section, starting with the butter David Carter.
Well, you gotta show it to Bob and then.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you see that, Bob? So the paragraph in the second page that starts with BS stated her objection to the plans, strike the second sentence.
The commission?
No, abutter David Carter. Starts with abutter David Carter.
Said what?
Suggested,
Oh,
well, okay. Actually, strike the last part of that sentence, everything starting with but, everything after the comma. So, but said he feared approval of this application would set a precedent and encourage more applications throughout the neighborhood.
Okay, so that's inaccurate. Got it.
Mayor, I don't recall that particular.
I don't recall it either,
Yeah,
but that's
but
fine.
Yeah. So leave the
It
part
doesn't,
that
it doesn't
says.
change our decision.
Right. Did you get that, Bob?
Good.
And so I guess we need to vote again?
Oh, on the minutes.
on the minutes?
Just on the.
Yes, do I hear a motion?
I move we vote on the corrected minutes.
I'll make a motion.
Further amended, let's
Further
call them the
amended.
further amended
Yes.
minutes.
Motion to approve the amended minutes.
Further amended.
further amendment.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Very good, thank
So
you.
just to note, I did have solar on my roof. This is back,
Back when?
if anybody remembers that. It was
Huh.
there until 10 years ago when I rebuilt.
Now, was that hot water, or was it
Just- it
actual
was just
solar
hot
panels?
water.
It was just hot water, it was just a hot water heater,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it wasn't very, it wasn't very good. But I do have names of people who've been helpful. Jennifer Doherty, she's at the Mass Historical thing, it's guidelines on sustainability for rehabilitation, whatever. But that's
You guys
her.
are already,
They are.
already running, go,
Okay.
run, go.
She's, and she's
Off on a
been,
run.
you know, they're like really short-staffed, they don't have a lot of anything to say, but she called me back, she's very nice.
Do I hear a motion?
Do you want a copy of this too?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all.